guys, Fix It here. So today I'm going to be replacing an alternator in a car. This is a high-end Santa Fe. There's a couple of things you need to do before you do this. So you're going to check the battery, check the leads, make sure things are tight. Let me go through that for you really quick, and then we'll move on to how to get to this specific one. So a couple things you're going to want to do is, first off, you're going to make sure your battery is actually good. So when you test your battery with your voltmeter, obviously you're going to be on your DC. I put it on 20 because it shouldn't go above 15. If it does, you got problems. So when you're testing it, it should be above, I think the reading is 2.6, or sorry, 12.6. After it receives a charge, it will stay at that charge and then slowly kind of trickle down back to that area. So if you're above 12.6, you have a good battery. Now what you'll do is make sure your leads, if those aren't tight, you're going to have a drain on your battery. So that may cause your alternator to overwork and then eventually kill your alternator. So what you do now is you will start the car with the batteries, well, obviously the terminals on the battery, and when you have it not started, it should read about 12.6 or better. And then when you start it, then this number should jump up to about 14 or 15. That means that this battery is receiving a charge from your alternator. If you don't have that, then that's a problem. What I ran into is when I start my car, sometimes it would make a charge and sometimes it wouldn't. I was doing some internet browsing and I found out that the brushes inside, there's a bunch of reasons why I would do it, but most of them are contained inside the alternator. If it's outside the alternator, it could be where the ground wire leads to the chassis of the body. Make sure everything's clean. That's the biggest thing for your charging system. Now, let me show you how to get an alternator out of a car. On the high end of Santa Fe, it's a pain. So it's usually on the side of all the belts. Well, it's always on the side of the belts. So for this, a lot of alternators will be right here at the top. Well, this one's not. Way down back in the back there. So I've already released the tensioner, which is right there. You'll take a socket and you'll hit that spot, and then you'll pull down on it, which will release the tension on the alternator. You'll take the belt off, and then I'll show you how to unbolt it. So now it goes without saying, you want to jack your car up and take your wheel off. What I do is I put a tire underneath there, so just in case I'm underneath, it doesn't fall on me and the jack gives way. Jack stands are probably a good idea too. You just want to do as much safety as you can before. But you guys know that you wouldn't be doing their own work if you were stupid. So right here is the panel inside. It goes right inside here. And so it'll be blocking all your stuff. So what you want to do is take off these 10mm bolts. There's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It goes up and underneath there. So once you get rid of that, then you're going to have access to all that. So that tension releaser I was talking about, just a regular ratchet will fit into that tension releaser, and you put it on tighten, and you pull it down, and there's quite a bit of tension on it, so you want to pull it down, and then don't get your fingers pinched, but pull that, just kind of work that belt off. And then you'll want to take off the bottom part, which is a 14mm, and then the top one, which is a 12mm. Then you'll move on to the back. You'll have the electronics that go in that regulate it. So that's a little pinch on the back. This is a pain to get on this, so you'll get in the back there and push that button and try to work it out. Good luck. That was the most difficult part of this whole thing. On the original, this was I believe it was a 13mm, and so now the new one's a 14mm. So that's your main power cable coming off of the unit. So it fits in there just like that. Your belt will come down on top of it, wrap around and go like that. So let me show you how to put it back on. So you got this little heat thing here. Originally when I take it off, I take off the bolts and I take off the main lead. And so then I leave that on because I can't get my fingers back behind it. So that's why I took it out. Make sure you don't hang the machine or the alternator on this, because it'll break these cables and then you have a way bigger problem. So I'm going to leave this off until the end, and it's easy to get back on. So what we're going to do is work this in. And then there's a little hook here that you need to work that down into. Get that bolt there. Okay, that was a pain. So on the inside part of this bolt here, there's a little tiny slider thing that actually tightens down so it won't slip, of course. You just have to wiggle it up and down, back and forth, up and down, and just keep going until it'll start to slide. So yeah, a little bit of damage there. So once you get that in there, whew, I'm out of breath, man. That thing was a battle. So get it in there, and this nut's still loose. Then you have your other one, which I believe was a 12 millimeter, and that goes at the top part up here. I don't know if you can see it on film right there. Get that in there, and basically all you're doing is securing everything up. Find out where it's at. You gotta kind of do this by braille. There we go. Woo! Thing's fighting back pretty good. So get them down finger tight there. This one too. Make sure this bolt's all the way pulled through so that square head will hold on to the little notch there. There we go. Now all that's needed to be done is tighten up this top one, put on the positive lead coming off of the alternator on the back. That you can't see. I might be able to rig it up so you can see it from down here, and I'll go top and do it. And then plug in the last plug, and then retension the belt. We'll do the top one first. They don't need to be monster tight, but you want to get them snug because there's a lot of vibration from the motor. You're not going to be able to get a monster tight here anyway because it's in a weird angle. So that seems about right. So on my 14. Same here. Now we're going to do the tensioner. Pull this down, and we're going to pull the belt back around the housing there. Okay. Before we get that belt on, we're going to attach this guy. See the little attachment. So the clip thing goes on the inside, and again, you're going to do it by braille. You gotta look at it before you put it back on here. That way you can get it on. Make sure it clicks. Okay, that one's in. Now let's get the belt on. A little square notch. Put it in there. Make sure it's all the way in so you don't rack your knuckles. And find your belt. See the belt there? That's just going right back around there. So. Make sure it's lined up in the wheels and it's all nice and smooth on all your belts, on all your wheels. If not, you're going to slice your belt. Alright, let's go. I'm going to put on the last, the positive lead on the back of that, and let's see if I can get you a camera angle. Okay, this is going to be your 13 millimeter. Make sure your battery is off for this process, or unplugged this whole process. You will get a charge from this one. Obviously finger tight. Okay, so now the moment of truth. So you checked all your wiring, all your plugs, make sure everything's snug. Make sure nothing's hitting anything, up against anything hot, so you're not going to melt wires. Now it's the moment of truth, so let's start it up, see how it runs. All right, touch your battery, positive first, avoid that spark. Lay these bad boys down. If this isn't clean, make sure this is cleaned. Don't need to be gorilla strength, it needs to be firm so they don't slip. If those move around, they drain your battery, remember? Let's go start it. I recognized that alternator was actually making a whining sound, so you hear that from what you just heard from the video. Well, what happened was the alternator was flawed, and so it was actually rubbing weird inside, so I had to go get a new one. Now, check out this. Let's put this in right now. Now we actually fixed it. You can too.